Next up, we have our speaker named Melassi Sassi. She's going to be talking to us about something that high achievers and women and minorities have in common. Melissa, welcome. Put your hands together for Melissa, who's from IBM, the startup manager there. Thank you.
All right, so I'm glad that we just heard that we're making an investment in Fintech, because I actually support Fintech startups, and I have a Fintech startup that I'm investing in here in Pakistan. I've actually got two, health tech startups and one Fintech startup. Before I jump into the imposter syndrome, I'd like to start out and tell you my personal story and my connection to Pakistan. A lot of people ask me, especially back home, what the hell are you doing going to Pakistan? Are you scared to go to Pakistan? And I'm here to say that I am absolutely not scared to go to Pakistan. This is my second time in Pakistan, and I will keep coming back to Pakistan. And by the way, I do think that the Karachi biryani is the best. And I do like spicy, believe it or not. All right, so my name is Melassi Sassi, and I work at IBM. I run a global startup program. I'm the global head, and we invest in fintech and health tech startups, so highly regulated industries. How many of you have heard of IBM HyperProtect Accelerator? Oh, I'm glad I have some hands, but it sounds like I got a whole heck of a lot of work to do. That's okay, that's part of the reason I'm here, is I will be launching my next cohort, so my call for applications, around April or May. And we offer some really interesting things, in my opinion, but I'd love the next time we come back and present to actually have my startups on the stage with me. My startups from Pakistan, talking about what have they done to create their proofs of concept here in Pakistan, what are they doing outside of the country, and also what has my team done to help them. And I hope when they stand up here, I actually have done something helpful. So my program is all about co-creating together. And what I mean by that is it's giving them access to credits, which I know many of us do. I came from Microsoft, so I don't know if I have any Microsoft colleagues in the room, but I spent 5 years as an impact investor at Microsoft. I invested in internet and energy access. And so through our program, we provide product credits, so access to the IBM Cloud, including a product that we call IBM Cloud HyperProtect Services, mentorship, access to our network. So if you're a fintech or health tech startup or insurtech, and you're thinking about how can I gain access to IBM's clients, their partners, come and talk with me. Go to market, co-marketing. And again, it's all about co-creation. So it's not about me saying, here are all the great things that I'm going to teach you. Come and teach me too, right? I know that I've taken a few minutes to talk about myself, but I also want to tell you that I've done a lot of really interesting work in Pakistan, very scrappy. I have a nonprofit that I run on the side, so I have my own startup, both nonprofit and for-profit. I have a co-working space in North Africa. And I've run coding camps in about 12 different countries, including Pakistan. I sit on the board of a Pakistani nonprofit called Takmil. Who's heard of Takmil before? Does anyone know what Takmil is? We teach out-of-school youth. So if you think about the 258 million young people who are sitting outside of school, and a big proportion of those sitting here in Pakistan, what can we do to provide them with the knowledge that they need to stand up here on the stage and become a World Economic Forum shaper? To come and be an entrepreneur. So with that, one of the things that I find, and it's not just something that women are impacted by, I think it's something that we all are impacted by. And I had a conversation with a gentleman last night, I don't know where he is, but you know, when he said, oh, you're the one doing that imposter syndrome talk, does that really exist? I'd like to ask you, I know I've been in a situation where I've been on a panel and I look down and I look to the right and I've got the president of OECD and a world-renowned economist over here, and she's spouting off a bunch of stats, and he is too, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I came up here on this panel and I have no stats to share with anyone. What am I doing here up in this panel? How many of you have been in a situation, either in a meeting or on a panel or just sitting there with your friends, or even last night, where you felt like, wow, do I belong here? Am I an imposter? So for my friend last night, it's real, it exists, and you saw a bunch of hands, me included. So I'd like to first off dedicate this talk to my friend Donna Sakar. Donna and I usually do this talk together. Donna works at Microsoft. She runs a community of 16 million people, a Windows Insiders program. We often feel like, and we're getting over it, I think, that, wow, did we get here by mistake? Did we get here by accident? How many of you sometimes feel like, wow, how the heck did I get here? Was it by accident? Was I just in the right place at the right time? Yeah, me too. Donna, I look at her, and she runs a community of 16 million people. 16 million people listen to her, look up to her. She's an amazing engineer. Actually, she's also a fashion designer. She made this dress for me, and she made it for my birthday. And she gave it to me, so when I went onto the stage at a UN event a few months ago, we would have matching dresses. I don't know if that's very girly or cheesy, but we don't care. We totally rocked it, and we looked amazing. Now, it's a really bad system if all of us in the room here, how many of us raised our hands, or those of you who were maybe too shy to raise your hands, if we all got here by accident, right? This is my mentor. This is Susan. She laughed at me when I said, I sometimes feel like an imposter. I get up into the work that I'm doing, and I wonder, do I actually belong? Do I have good things to say? And this is normal. What's really funny is, the most prominent people we've all heard of, they feel the same way sometimes. So Sheryl Sandberg, who's heard of Sheryl, at Facebook, I know there are lots of news these days about whether they're so popular these days or not. We'll put that aside. But Sheryl was at an event with a bunch of engineers. Grace Hopper, who's heard of Grace Hopper? Yeah, it's a lot of engineers, and she's not an engineer. She stood up on that stage, and she's like, ladies, guys, I don't know what the hell I'm doing up on this stage. I'm not an engineer. I didn't study computer science. Why am I speaking at an engineering conference? Even she feels like an imposter. How the heck did I get to be COO of one of the largest tech companies on the planet without knowing what all of you know about technology? Neil Armstrong was at a party once, and he was talking with the people at the party, and he was looking around and thinking, wow, what am I doing here? I just went where I was told. He feels like an imposter. So 70% of people feel like imposters sometimes, so you're not alone. And I know, again, those of you who are shy, how many of you do actually feel like an imposter sometimes? Yes, okay. So it wasn't a mistake. You didn't slip through the radar. You belong here, and so do I. I belong up on the stage. And I think one of the things I said when I first came to Pakistan, this is my second time in Pakistan, said, how can we get you back to Pakistan? I said, put me on a stage and make my boss see that I'm going to stand in front of a group of people in Pakistan and not just talk about IBM technology and try to sell my stuff to you, but how can I help us build an ecosystem together? And how can we think about not just the stuff that I can sell to you from my company, but what are all the traits and things that we all need to have, and what are the traits that I need to have to come and be a better entrepreneur or a better intrapreneur? We're all as good as the people around us. And it wasn't dumb luck. We weren't in the right place at the right time. I will say there are many times where I feel like I was in the right place at the right time, and it was dumb luck. Or, somebody at some point is going to say, wait a second, are you really qualified to be in the position that you're in? I have a friend of mine from Microsoft, and he often goes to the Build conference, and he is more introverted and doesn't really enjoy small talk. And he's always afraid that somebody's going to ask him a question that he doesn't know the answer to. And what we've tried to instill in him is, like many of us here, it's okay if you don't know the answer to something. It doesn't make you, an imposter just because you don't know everything. We've all heard that fake it till you make it. I have completely impostered my way through the mainframe business. I work in the mainframe business at IBM. When I first came, I thought, what the heck am I doing in the mainframe business? What the heck is a mainframe anyway? And I spent months with engineers, and half of the time, I had no idea what they were even talking about, because I'm not an engineer. I didn't study computer science, even though I have taught tens of thousands of kids to code all around the world. From Syrian refugee camps to here in Pakistan, to Tunisia, Malawi, Cameroon. The only line of code I've ever written is hello world. And I think that's where the team comes into play. So these are just some pictures of that, I don't know, bring me joy. And I think when I'm standing up here on the stage and I look at, some of the things that, I've been able to accomplish, one of the pictures is actually here in Karachi at the National Incubation Center. The one up there on the far left, and the one on the right is my nonprofit that started out from a personal tragedy. So my personal tragedy is my superpower, and what I mean by that is we all have our experiences that shape our lives. My children and I are victims of parental kidnapping. My children were kidnapped 10 years ago. They never came home. They're still not home. They're safe, they're healthy, I know exactly where they are. Don't worry, Pakistani men, he wasn't Pakistani. They live in Tunisia, sandwiched in between Algeria and Libya. And this experience taught me to believe in something bigger than myself, and for me, I have two causes. One of them is digital inclusion. So I love when I hear people talking about internet access and digital skills, and also technology entrepreneurship. How can I take my experience and empower others through access to technology, access to knowledge, and create things bigger than myself? So, what's that 13-step spell? How do you not feel like an imposter? This is what Donna and I use. I wish Donna was up on the stage with me, but I think she's in Orlando at Microsoft Ignite, which for me, I'm incredibly excited as a Microsoft alum that, and believe it or not, how on earth would Microsoft invite their competitor, IBM, to come and stand on a stage and talk about this very topic in front of 7,000 people on the 13th of November? I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it, but let me know if this sucked so I can change and do a better job next time. All right, so how can we banish the imposter syndrome? So I think about it as like, what do you feel unqualified to do? And is that imaginary versus reality? I think we all have that inner bully inside of ourselves telling us that, wow, you're not good enough to do this. And we all manifest this in different ways. I think men might be less verbal in a group. Women might be more verbal in a group. That's at least my experience. I didn't do this big survey, so I don't know how much of a peer-reviewed quality analysis that is, but that's what I see. I also think about what would you lose out on, and will you be better off if you don't do the thing, whatever that thing is? For me, yeah, it's hecka scary to come and stand up here on a stage in front of a bunch of amazing Pakistani entrepreneurs. What the heck do I know about Pakistan? What the hell do I know about the ecosystem in Pakistan? I'm thankful that I have 3 amazing startups in my 15 startup program that have roots in Pakistan. So they're going to teach me. And I hope you'll all teach me as well. So also, what would other people lose out on if you don't show up? So I think my example here is, wow, if I didn't take that trip back to Pakistan, to figure out what's happening in the Pakistani ecosystem from a startup perspective, would I have those 3 amazing startups in my program? I wouldn't. Maybe if I sat at home in Silicon Valley, in my office, which I haven't been to in 6 months, I can't even remember how to drive to my office. But if I did, and I sat there, would I have such a global program with such a wide remit of interesting organizations out there? And I'm going to zip through this because I'm going to get in trouble soon. So break it down. Think about what stuff are you specifically qualified to do? We're not qualified to do everything. What stuff can we do? What stuff can we not do? For me, I think, and I hope others agree, that I'm qualified to empower startups. I've got a great network, and I've got great access both through my employer as well as the network of the people who I work with. I know how to build a community. I have a community of 5,000 developers here in Pakistan, and I'd never been to Pakistan before. You guys are active on Facebook, my gosh. And I think I'm qualified to write and speak. I didn't originally put write and speak, and I have no idea why I have a welder up here. I don't know what the welder has to do with writing and speaking, but that's okay. We have to pick something. Which parts are you unqualified to do? You definitely don't want me flying a helicopter. You definitely don't want me being your architect. So who is your squad? Who can help you do the things that you're not qualified to do? I suck at time management. You can ask these guys, help me get on stage, point me where to go, tell me when it's my turn to start. If you don't, I'm going to forget where I am, and I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to be over there drinking coffee. I suck at doing expense reports, and I suck at saying no. So how can you build your squad of people who can help you do the things that you need to do? And who are those people who are qualified to do the things that you can't do? Pull those people together. And I know I'm over time, and I'm going to keep going. Sorry, guys. So I have a bunch of mentors, a whole bunch of mentors who help me, and I reach out to them often to figure out how can I do the things that I need to do to be successful, and how do you do mini experiments? So not just jump right in and go big, but how can you crawl, walk, run, fly? I often look at my mentors, and I don't give them this big request. I do things in small, bite-sized pieces. Hey, I like what you're doing. I'm doing a little experiment. I have a question for you. I do this through WhatsApp, and I have a whole squad of people I reach out to. And I do it in bite-sized pieces. And I figure out, how can I help you? This is an example, and I'm happy to share this deck with you if the team is not, but these are some of the things that I'm working on, and how do I interact with my mentors? This is an example of something that I'm doing with my nonprofit, of launching it from camps to an online learning platform. By the way, it will be in Urdu when I launch it, so I look forward to launching it here in Pakistan as well. All right, most importantly, don't compare yourself with others. I don't compare myself with Chairman Pai from the FCC. I don't compare myself with Moez Shakshouk from UNESCO, or Mei Lin, who's the founder of co-founder of People-Centered Internet with Vint Cerf. She's my mentor, by the way. Yeah, the father of the internet. Or Donna. We complement one another. Not just that, but think about being an and, not an or. So for me, I don't need to be, I'm this or that. I'm an author and a speaker. I'm a nonprofit leader. But I'm also a startup lady boss, and I'm all of those at the same time. What is your and? What advice would you give to a friend? And how do you make sure that you write it down and actually do it? All right. Gather your squad. When I sat up on that stage with OECD and this amazing economist, I texted Donna. I said, Donna, I feel like such an imposter up here. I'm here with the president of the OECD on a stage. What am I doing here? And she said, you're going to bring real experiences. You're going to bring passion and grit. They're going to spout off statistics. They're going to remember you. They're going to grab you and talk to you afterward. They're not going to remember those statistics. So how do you combine your knowledge with real people and real journeys and real stories? Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you don't. Document it, learn it. And lastly, do the thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's starting your company, starting a new company, applying for the Accelerator, deciding that, you know what, this isn't working. I'm going to close it down and do something else. So use the spell as you choose. I hope this has been helpful. I know I'm in trouble for going over. My friend Donna just wrote a book about this. You can find it on Amazon for anyone who might have access. I don't know how else it's accessed, but she's amazing, and she just launched her book just recently. You've got this, so anything that I can do to help, I'm on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook. But here is my Twitter handle. I'm very active, so if there's anything that I can ever do to help you not feel like an imposter, reach out. Thank you.